Good evening, children. So I welcome you all to the day 5 of Engineering Foundation program conducted by Amrita School of Engineering. So today we'll be discussing some topics of mathematics. So mostly we'll be concentrating on calculus, then permutations and combinations. So I think let's start the session. Yeah, I think all of you can see the screen I have shared and also my voice is audible. Okay. Okay, so let's start the session. So what is calculus? You have studied about calculus in your 11th and 12th. So what is mean by calculus? I think most of you have an idea about what is the part of calculus. We are using integration and differentiation as a part of this calculus. So where this integration and differentiation is being used in our daily life? Or where are we using this concept? So we are not going to do any problems of differentiation or integration. We are just using it in different areas around us. So initially, the calculus was developed for providing better navigation system. Yeah. So today we'll be discussing what is calculus, the effect of calculus or the areas where calculus is used in our life, in engineering, and some applications of calculus. So these 4 topics we'll be discussing today regarding the calculus. So let's see the definition of calculus. Calculus is referred as infinitesimal calculus or the calculus of infinitesimal. So maybe this will be a new word for you, infinitesimal. So these numbers are the quantities that have a value, but it is near to 0, but it is not exactly 0. So the calculus will be having a value near to 0. So we'll be discussing about what is this infinitesimal, where we are using this concept in detail. Okay, so let's move on to the definition. It's a branch of mathematics that studies continuously changing quantities. So I think you all know what geometry is. In geometry, we'll be studying about the shapes. In algebra, we'll be studying about the generalization of all the operations, the arithmetic operations and all. Similarly, calculus is another part of mathematics where we study about the continuously changing quantities. It tells us about the continuously changing quantities. Maybe we can say it, the calculus as a method of analysis or a calculation, maybe using some of the symbolic notations like limits, the differentiation, the integration. We are doing it in a single function or maybe of different functions. And we can say calculus as the combined max or the combined form of differential calculus and integral calculus. I know you know the formulas and how to do the differentiation and the integration of different values in the mathematics. Yeah. Now I think you can see a graph here. It's visible, I think. And then there is an irregular shape. There is a line and we want to find the... Okay, let me ask you 2 questions with this graph or with this diagram. So the first one is, how steep is a function at the point? So I have drawn a line here and I have to find out the steepness. How steep the function is at this point. And so the structure of the graph is like this, and I have shaded some area here. So I want to calculate the area underneath the graph. Maybe I have shaded this portion, so I need to find the area below the graph that is shaded. How we will be doing this? The first question I have asked you is how steep or how we can find that function at a point. And the second one is I need to calculate the area under this graph. How I'll be calculating this. These are the two questions that need to be answered. And I know you know the answer. How we can solve this or how we can find out this. The first question, the steepness of a function at a point can be calculated by using the concept or the tool called the derivative. And the second one is the area under the graph. It can be calculated by using the tool called the integrals. So this is the base of integrals or differential. This is the way we have studied in our mathematics, or this is the use with which we are doing problems in our subject. So let's see the differentiation and the integration concept in really very detail. Okay. So what do you mean by derivatives and what is integrals? We can call derivative of a function as the measure of rate of change of the function. Or maybe we can call it as the, maybe it gives the explanation of the function at a specific point. It measures the rate of change of a function at a specific point. So what about the integrals? Integrals means we could find out the area under the curve using the integrals. So in the case of integrals, what we are doing is we are accumulating the discrete value of a function over a particular set or a range of values. Okay, so this is the basic idea of derivative and integrals. What is derivative? What is mean by the differential function and what is mean by integrals? You have this idea, I know. Okay, so this integrals and derivatives, we can call them as a part of the fundamental theorem of calculus. They are a part of the calculus. Limit is also the part of calculus. Now, there is one diagram in the left side where we can see the same graph in the previous slide for the derivative and the integral. Okay. So in the differential calculus or in the derivative, what we are going to do is we are going to cut these into small pieces and we are going to find out how the change occurs. So the derivative is used to find out the steepness. So here a point is mentioned and we have to find the steepness at that point. So what we will be doing? We'll be taking another point in the same graph and we'll be calculating the distance between them. Now, as a part of the next step, we'll be taking one point which is closer to the point where we need to find the range. So we'll be taking that point and calculating the distance. Then similar point, we'll be taking multiple values like this. So this we are cutting into small pieces and we are going to find out how this changes. So after multiple cutting or after multiple taking these points closer to the initial point or the final objective point, we can get different values. And we can say that all these values will come to a particular, or all these values will align to a particular number or particular value. So we can see how the range changes. In the case of integral calculus, what it happens is, you can see the shaded portion. What we are going to do is we are going to cut this into individual pieces, maybe rectangles or some shapes. And we are going to find out them. So in integral calculus, we are integrating these small pieces together and we are finding out how much it is. So this is the concept of derivative and integral. Actually, we can call this as the opposite of each other, integral or the derivative. So this is the basic concept of integrals and derivatives, and they are a part of the calculus. So I think everyone is clear with the base. So now, okay. You have any idea of where we are using this in our daily life? On which parts or on which areas we are going to use this? So I'll tell you, we have an idea of how to work with the perfect shapes, maybe some circles, cubes and all in the geometry and all. But everything is not that perfect in nature. So for dealing with these imperfect things, we have this calculus. So these calculus helps us to find, or helps us to helps us to find the area of an irregular shape. So there is a diagram posted here. It's just a shell. So this Nautilus shell, we can call this as a classical example where we can see the changes. Its structure is entirely different, and this calculus will be helping us to study this structure. So it's not in a regular shape. There are some changes in each point of this figure. So it's irregular. So this irregular structure can be studied using the concept called the calculus. So I think everything is clear regarding the calculus, where it is used. Now we are moving on to the different areas where calculus is being used. To study about the complicated shapes, maybe something I have shown you earlier. It is used in evaluating survey data. It is also used in the safety aspect of our vehicles. For providing the safety in our vehicles also, we use this calculus. For business planning, for credit card payment records, everything there is calculus. It's a part which is being used by economists, biologists, architect, maybe a mechanical engineer, statisticians, medical experts. Every person is using this calculus in one or another point of their life. We are also using this calculus as a part of our day-to-day life. Okay. So now let's move on to the different areas where this calculus is there. We'll be dealing with the applications later. So let's see the simple examples in the subjects we study or in the areas we see. Calculus is there in physics, chemistry, biology, finance, or it is being used by the economist persons also. So we can see on which areas this is being used. In physics, on which areas calculus is being used. Okay. Yeah. So let's start with physics. So in physics, from the small concepts of physics to the higher concepts, to the advanced physics, we have to have an idea about the calculus. In calculating the velocity or the trajectory of an object, for predicting about the planets, for understanding the electromagnetism concept, in the motion, electricity, heat, light, astronomy, dynamics, acoustics, everywhere we are using the concept of calculus. So most of you have used this integrals and differentials in your physics problem solving. And also the advanced physics concepts, including the electromagnetism, Einstein's theory of relativity, everywhere the concept of calculus is there. So this calculus is a base for so many physics concepts. So these physics we are using in our day-to-day life. Now moving on to the next area, that is chemistry. In chemistry also, this calculus plays a very important role. It is used to find out the rate of a reaction, the rate of a chemical reaction, that is how fast a reaction will be taking place. And also it can be used to find out the radioactive decay of the elements in the reaction rate. And also it's used to formulate the rates, that is the birth rate and the death rate. In that field also this calculus is being used. So for chemistry, predicting the rate of the reaction, we can call it as how fast the reaction or how much time that it will take for the reaction to occur. Mostly we are using integrations in the concept of chemistry. And also for the reaction rates, for the radioactive decay, in order to predict the birth or the death rates, everywhere we are using the calculus. Now, after physics and chemistry, there is the use of calculus in biology. In biology, we can study an organism or a species with respect to calculus. How a species is interacting with the ecosystem, we can study this with the help of calculus. We are using differential equation to analyze how the population of predators and prey evolves over time. So this can also be studied by using the calculus. Calculus is a part of everything. And I'm studying about a bacteria and I'm changing its living conditions and experimenting on it. Maybe its temperature, its food, everything I'm changing. So that change or the growth rate of the bacteria, what happens to the bacteria, that there also there is the influence of the field of calculus. To study about the species interaction with the ecosystem, how much a bacteria can survive while we are varying certain conditions. All these fields we need the help of calculus, the differential or the integral equations we have to use here. And some more examples in the field of biology means we can calculate the backbone length or the skull length with the help of calculus. Maybe we can call them as somewhat irregular structures. So there are physical attributes like the backbone length or the skull length, which can be measured by using the calculus. One more example I can tell you is, in a living organism, how much concentration of drug is there, which can also be answered or calculated with the help of calculus. So all these things are, maybe we are daily in contact with all these things. So these are some areas where in the subjects or in the areas of physics, chemistry, and biology, we are using the concepts of calculus. Now we'll move on to the finance. So in the case of finance, so which stocks is the best, and also for mainly in the case of finance, there will be surveys will be conducting at different points, different surveys will be there. So how to analyze a survey, or for the exact evaluation of the survey, statisticians are using this concept of calculus. So we know that when a survey is being conducted for some purpose, there will be different answers or different options. So for a more accurate prediction, we are using calculus in this field also. To have an exact idea of the predictions, we are relying on calculus. Then one more example is, these credit card companies also use the concept of the calculus. Maybe for setting the minimum payment rate, or regarding the statements or the time of the statement that needs to be processed and everything, we are using the concept of calculus. So it's there in our daily life. Calculus is there in our daily life. We are unknowingly using the concepts of the calculus in our day-to-day life. Then the next part is the economist. So mainly for the prediction purposes, how will be the maximum demand, how will be the demand, how will be the supply. So in this class, there will be some technical terms related to those concepts, maybe of different fields in engineering or maybe of finance and all. There will be some technical terms. So if you are finding any difficulty, you can just type it in the chat box, or you can ask them at the end of the session. Okay. So for the economists, they have to predict the supply, demand, or maybe the profit. Everywhere we are using the calculus. Then the other area is to determine price elasticity of demand. It means we have a supply demand curve. So every company or every economist, they'll be working on a supply or demand curve. So we have to measure the elasticity maybe at a particular point. So we already saw that concept. We are using differential equations for that purpose. That is, derivatives are using for this purpose. So to calculate the exact measure of elasticity, we'll be using the concept of the derivatives. Then for computing the marginal cost or marginal revenue, this economist will be depending on the concept of this calculus. So these are some of the common areas where the concept of calculus is being used in physics, chemistry, biology, economist, and the financial sectors. Okay. Now, the research analyst and also the graphics artist, both of them will be also using the concept of calculus. So in the case of a research analyst, he'll be having different values to operate. So how to improve the efficiency? He'll be having a lot of data in his hand. So from that data, an analysis has to be made and different questions need to be answered. So how to increase the profit, or maybe how to improve the operations, or how to increase the production. So every factor we are using the help of, we are analyzing with the help of the calculus. Then regarding a graphics artist, maybe for determining the type of the models, which model is subject, maybe for a graphics artist, maybe the base conditions will be changing. The need or the objective will be changing. So how to adapt to that objective, how to create an environment. Even this is being used in movies and video games. So the graphics artist is also working on the calculus. Now we can see the different branches of engineering where calculus is being used. So there are different branches. Let us first concentrate on architects or the architectural engineers. So in the case of architectural engineers, while building the infrastructure, they need to have an idea about different factors. How much the infrastructure weight will be, what are the environmental factors, how much, there are so many calculations they need to perform. So especially in the case of arches or building the bridges, they have to use this concept of the calculus. So creating a good design, an architect should have an idea about the differential or the integral calculus or about the concepts of calculus. We have seen most beautiful buildings in the maybe of regular shapes. What is the use of calculus for the architect is it will help them to create non-symmetric designs. There are arches and buildings with a perfect symmetry. So calculus helps the architects to create the buildings which are non-symmetric, maybe of odd shape or structurally, maybe we can say or call them as structurally sound buildings. So entirely different types of buildings can be made by architects or can be made by architects with the help of the calculus. The structure should be non-symmetric or asymmetrical. The structure should be asymmetrical. Then the another area of engineering is aerospace. So in the ideal rocket equation, the calculus is being used. Thrust tower time calculated using the ideal rocket equation. We can call this an application of calculus. So the analysis of rockets, what is happening there? We have to consider about the gravitational force, about the time, about the space. There are n number of constraints. So all these fields are using the calculus. Maybe in the astronomy or in the rocket launching, everywhere we are using the calculus. So the aerospace engineering or the aerospace also uses the calculus for calculating different equations or different criteria in their applications. The next field we can call as the space flight engineering. So you all have heard about the different space missions. So when we are planning for these long missions, also calculus plays an important role. We are going to launch an vehicle so we have different orbits, different planets and all. So their orbital velocities, which planet we need to target or which orbit we need to target, what about the gravitational forces, everywhere this calculus is acting. So calculus also plays an important role for the space flight engineers. Is also being used by the space flight engineers. So the next field of engineering is electrical engineering. Maybe while we are going to connect two substations, maybe these two substations are far apart. I can say maybe miles and miles apart. So we have to find out the exact need of the power cable, exact length of the power cable. All these areas, the electrical engineers are also using the calculus concept. They are mainly using integration to find out the exact length of the power cable that is needed to connect two different substations that are miles and miles apart. So the electrical engineers are also relying on the concept of the calculus. They are using integration and also differential concept. The next is structural engineers. So structural engineers in their career, in order to study or determine the forces of the complex structures, they'll be using the calculus. Here also there are some terms that are related to their branch itself. Maybe in the soil structure context, the calculations of the bearing, the shear strength and everything. So about the pressure, about some slopes and all, they are also dealing with this calculus. Maybe differential or integral equations they are using. Not equations, the concepts they are using in these fields. To have an analysis, different parts of or different fields of engineering will be relying on this concept of the calculus. Now for the mechanical engineers. So mechanical engineers, while studying BTech mechanical, you'll be studying about the HVAC design. So the Newton's law of cooling, they are using differential equations and also the integrations to solve this. There will be many complex objects in their design. So computing the surface area of that complex objects, determining their forces, and also designing of the pump, calculating the power of a battery system. Everywhere there is calculus. Now the next field is the civil engineering. So for the hydraulic analysis programs and also for these all are the technical terms of civil engineering. So if you find any difficulty, you can just Google it and you can have an idea about it. So for the hydraulic analysis programs and also they are using this calculus. So while the construction of some plot or some building, they have to use this integration to calculate the area under the plot. So all those that are dealing with the construction of some new frames, they need to have an idea about the concept of the calculus. Then only it will be possible for them to work. So for the hydrology, the volume has to be calculated or the area under the curve has to be calculated while they are plotting some graph. So in that concept also, this calculus plays an important role, mostly the integration. So now I think we have seen almost all the fields of engineering. So the construction, the civil, architectural, structural engineering, all those fields, the mechanical, the electrical engineers, and even the computer science engineers. So every field, for some or the other part, they have to have an idea about the calculus, about the integrals and the differentials. Unknowingly, we are using this in our day-to-day life also. So now we'll be moving to some other applications of this calculus. The first one is improving public health. That is epidemiology. The next one is in the weather forecast. And the third one I have put here is the search engines. In the search engines also, we are using this concept. Okay. So what do you mean by epidemiology? So this is the correct time. We are in a crucial situation due to this COVID-19. We are at homes and we are not able to go to schools and there are different problems. So here, this epidemiology concept is very important. It's the descriptive science which is telling us the rates of how the disease will be affecting a particular category of population. This is what we are using now to predict the spread of COVID, whether it's third wave will occur or something. So it studies the spread of an infectious disease, and this study is particularly based on the concept of calculus. So here, so many factors are considered. The first one is how many people are susceptible to the disease, how many are infected, how many have already recovered from the disease. We have some factors with us, and calculus is helping us to predict how fast and how much the disease will be spreading, how we can control the disease, how we can treat them, from where this has originated. Every details we can predict using the concept of calculus. And this is being used by our different departments to predict the time or the occurrence of the next wave of the disease. And I have to tell you one important thing is that this will be changing over time. This prediction or this rate or the disease, everything will be changing over time. So these equations are dynamic and we are developing these new models each day to predict this. So the rate of infection, the recovery, the spread, the time, everything differs. So the equations or the calculus has to be dynamic. So we are using these equations or this calculus in a day-to-day basis to do these predictions. So this is serving a very important part in our life now. Through this simple example, I think everyone is clear with the concept. So the next one is with the weather models. So nowadays, the weather prediction is much better than the earlier stages. So it's because of the advancements in the technology, especially the concept called the computer modeling. The computer modeling is what it relies fully on calculus. So computer modeling is using the concept of calculus and it is able to predict the weather. It uses calculus to predict the weather. So it is being used in the weather forecasting. We have different criteria or different conditions to consider. So all these conditions, maybe speed, the moisture level, the temperature, everything needs to be considered or everything needs to be studied, and then the weather forecasting is being done. So here you have heard about the Department of Meteorology. So they are also working with this calculus, concept of calculus, in order to do these predictions better. Many of their operations are strictly with these differential equations. They are working on this differentials. So these people, they'll tell us how the temperature will be, whether it will be hot, there will be rains, there will be flood or anything. So they have to study the temperature, the atmospheric pressure, and they are indicating us the changes in weather. And they are using the concept of calculus to do this studies or do this operations. So it is being used in the field of weather predictions also. So the next one is search algorithms. So I know you have an idea about it. So our search engines are what we are searching and we are getting a result. Maybe we are using Google, we are searching something and we are getting a result. So the algorithms that is being used by the search engines on a day-to-day basis, they are on a day-to-day basis and giving us the better results. They are based on calculus, working based on calculus. So these search engines are, there are some computer algorithms working behind this. So these algorithms make the search engines adapted, finding the precise answer very quickly. So they will be checking for our history, they will be checking for our geographic locations and all, and they will be giving us the apt answer. So the search engines, calculus is also a part of the search engines we are using. So here, there are certain rules or certain constraints, and also some, with all the given constraints, there are some calculus equations being used to provide the logical and the effective result in a search. These computer algorithms are in turn using the calculus as a part of them, or they are using this calculus with some rules and constraints, and they are providing us the effective result of a search. Now this is the base. I think you all have an idea about this calculus being used in the shipbuilding and in the dams also. So the structure of the ship, it is somewhat different. So the curved structure of the ship, where we are using the differential equation to find out it or to formulate it in order to manufacture it. And also the area under the hull, we can found it using calculate it using the integral calculus. So for the designing of ships also, this calculus is being used. So in the diagram I have pasted here, I have just mentioned what is hull. You can just have a look on it. So that the curved shape is it. So the shape and also it's just a irregular like shape. So the area can also be calculated using the calculus. In the case of the dams also, engineers are using it to find out the force of water from the surface area of the reservoir. So in the designing of dams also, this calculus is playing a very important role. So we have seen different areas where the calculus is playing the wide number of roles in our life. From the small, maybe to study bacterial growth, to the astronauts, they are using this differential equation. And another concept or another application of this calculus is in the vehicle safety. So we are all driving our vehicles. So when you use to drive vehicle, we need to think about the safety of that vehicle. So calculus is being used to improve the safety of this vehicle. So maybe while driving a car and we are feeling like there's something to happen, some accident to happen, what we'll be doing? We'll be strongly pressing our brakes and to the most. So in that, to analyze the safety, we are using the integration or the calculus concept. So the integration is used to analyze crash test data to improve the safety of cars. So in the test lab of the vehicles, they are analyzing this using the dummies, and they are assuring the safety of the vehicles, providing the vehicles maybe 5-star, 4-star and all based on the safety perspective. So when you are pressing the brake to the extent, what you're doing is you're doing the deceleration. We know what is acceleration. The direct opposite is the deceleration concept. So from the moment we are pressing the brake to the end, we'll be analyzing the values and we'll be plotting it in a graph. And one more thing I want to tell you is, while sitting in the position or in the human body, this head portion is like a pendulum. So the more risk during an accident is for our head. So to study that, there is some concept used by the mechanical engineers, head injury calculation. So for that, they are using this concept, drawing a graph between the time and the deceleration, and they have to calculate the area under the curve. So while calculating the area under the curve, maybe there is some value for that. If that value comes only, we can say that the vehicle is safe. Maybe around 2.5 or something is the value. So with that value, we can say the vehicle is safe. It's an integral equation. So here also, to analyze how much a vehicle is safe, we are using the concept of calculus, especially the integration concept is used here for keeping our vehicle safe. Yeah. So that's all about the concept of calculus. I think you all can have an idea about the different areas or the different sectors where calculus is being used, from our day-to-day life subjects to the other end applications. Now we'll be moving on to the next topic, that is permutations and the combination. So this is a very, interesting topic to study in your mathematics subjects, this permutation and the combination. So we'll be dealing with the same things about its definition, how it is used in our life, in the engineering concepts, and also the applications of the permutations. So what is the definition of what is the concept of permutation and combination? So we can say this as the various ways in which the objects from a set may be selected, most probably without the replacement, and we are forming the different subsets of them. And the selection of the subset, we can call them as permutation and combination. Combination is the case when the order of selection, there is no matter for the order, and we are not considering the order at all, it's the combination. And in the case of permutation, the order of selection matters. When order of selection is considered as a factor, we are calling this as permutation. And when the order of selection is not there, we are calling example. So I'm making a fruit salad. It is having strawberries, maybe apples, grapes, or bananas. So we are not concentrating about the order. It's always whether the order is banana, apple, or grapes, or apple, grapes, or strawberries. It's the same fruit salad. We are not giving importance to the order. The second one is a lock. You can see it in the video. Second one is a lock. And the key for the lock, the password for the lock is 472. Here, the order matters a lot. If you are changing the order, it will not work at all. Whether changing it as 724 or 274 or any value, this will not work. Here, the order is important. So I think you are clear with the examples. The first one is a simple example of a fruit salad, and the next one is the combination of the lock. So now we have to deeply study the concept of combinations and permutation. So I'll tell you it in the definition. So combination implies several ways of choosing objects from the large object pool, where the order is irrelevant. In combination, we are not giving importance to the order of the selection. While permutation refers to several ways of arranging a set of objects in sequential order. When order is important, it becomes permutation. When there is no order, it becomes combinations. I know you have an idea about the equations. This equation you have used in your 12th standard for the whole chapter of permutation and combination. So for the combination, we know NCR equal to n factorial by n minus r into r factorial, and NPR equal to n factorial by n minus r factorial. You have an idea about this, I know. So in real life situations, I'll tell you some examples where we are using this concept of permutations and combinations while making coffee, for hacking the password, maybe of a phone or a system. So after a game, we are going to award some students the first, second, and the third prize in a game. We can consider this as an example. And maybe you are going to choose the outfit for the week. That is per day outfit for a week. So all this can be considered as the real life examples of the concept of permutations and the combinations. So now I'll tell you another example where we are using this permutation and combination. So for forming the number plates of cars, we are using this concept. So let me take an example. So these car numbers are being generated by the RTOs and they have to be unique numbers. No two cars have the same number. So I have just taken a number. It is KL65Q6078. This is being a combination of letters and also the numbers. So we have the KL. I know it states for, you all know it states for the state, which state it belongs. So KL is for Kerala. Then 65 is for the city. So which city is there? Then we have the data. It is Q6078. It's being a combination of letters and also numbers. Now we have to find out how many number plates can be generated. So what we'll do? We'll have a look into how many possible combinations will be there. So for Q, it can be from A to Z. So from A to Z, we know that it is 26. So there are 26 ways for the Q to be there. Then for 6078, it can be any number from 0 to 9. So calculating it, we can say that it is 10 ways. So all those 4 tens, it will be 10,000, and the Q, we can write it in 26 ways. So the total number of number plates that can be generated with this combination, with this numbers, is 2,60,000. And let me say, when the number of cars got increased from 2,60,000, we will be introducing one more letter to the system. So I have rewritten it as KL65QA6078. So one letter's introduction, we have the total number of cars registered as 26 into 26 into 10,000. It becomes 67,60,000. So this is how this is changing. This is how the permutation and the combination is changing. So now we can see the different applications of the permutation and combination. So first we'll go to the engineering field. So this permutation and combination is being used by a computer science engineer. For those computer science engineers who have to study the graph theory, probability, or discrete mathematics. You have an idea about probability. The discrete mathematics and graph theory are the subjects related to mathematics that is being studied or that is being used by computer science engineers. So you should have an idea of permutations and combinations in order to study all the others. And this permutation and combinations as a part of graph theory is being used by the Quora or the Facebook for their functioning. Now let's move on to the most interesting part. It is the combinatorics. We can call this as the one which deals with the counting. Everything that is related to counting is in the combinatorics. It's a derived and a part of the mathematics. So we'll be having permutations, factorials, the combinations, probability, everything under the branch. Everything that deals with the counting comes under this branch of mathematics. So while dealing with permutations and combinations, I thought I'll be introducing this to you. So this is a section where everything will be dealing. So the probability, the factorial, the permutation and combination, everything is related and it comes under this. Now we'll be dealing with some of the applications. So this is being used for the security purposes, for the pattern analysis in languages, in the computational molecular biology, in the computer architecture, in communication networks, in the cryptography and network security. All these fields are using the concept of permutations and combinations. Okay, so first we'll deal with the computer architecture. So what is there in computer architecture? Computer architecture deals with the, maybe the architecture means the structure of the system. So we can call here, we need the chips, computer chips. We can call them as the building blocks of the computer system or the computer architecture. So we need some output pin, input pin, some ICs and some logic gates and all for this purpose. So here also, we are using this permutation and combination for the manufacturing or for the purpose of computer architecture. It's a part of the computer architecture. So the design of these chips involves the possible combinations, how much input pin, how much output pin, how much logic gates, maybe how much transistors, everything is under the counting. So this is a field where the permutation and combination is being used. So the next area is the computational molecular biology. So the computational molecular biology, it mostly deals with the studies of the DNA, the atoms, the molecules, genes, protons, everything that is related to the biology. Then taking the combinations of this. Let me tell you an example in DNA matching. All this we are using this permutations and combination concept. So for the matching and all. So the permutation problems for the sequencing, DNA sequencing regarding the atoms, molecules, genes, or the protons, for the DNA matching, all these concepts we need the permutations and the combinations. So it's being used in the computational molecular biology sector also. So now moving on to the next part is the security. We can call this as the homeland security. So in the pattern analysis, we are using the permutation and combination. How this will be for analyzing maybe human faces in the X-ray images, for the working of the chemical components and all, for the sensors and all, we are using the concept of the permutations and combinations. And also in the areas of computer science like data mining or natural language processing, we use this concept of permutations and the combinations. Then another example is in the languages. Maybe for the computer languages and all, maybe for the arrangement of words, characters, how this are arranged. This is closely related to combinatorics, but it's also a part of the permutation and the combinations. So we need to search for some algorithm, or it is used in the word processing or for the database operations and all, we are using the permutations and the combinations. So it is used in the cryptography, network security, and the communication network. So here, while we need to calculate or we need to have an analysis of the network, how much is the performance? For the performance evaluation, we can use the permutations on the networks. And also cryptography is another part where we are going to interchange some data and we are doing the process of encryption. And the online data interchange is very high these times, so the security of the data is much needed. So we are using the process of encryption here. So in the process of encryption also we are using the, maybe we'll be encrypting using the codes, digits or characters or words. They are also a combination where permutation and combination is having an application. So in the encryption process or the encryption field also we are using permutations and combinations. And you have heard about the Fourier transforms, I think. For the Fourier transforms, mostly used in the speech recognition or the speech encryption systems, were all the field of permutations and combinations also being used. So there is wide variety of applications for the area of permutation and the combinations. And the next one is pattern analysis. We have already understood the analysis of the atoms, molecules, or the DNAs. So besides these, we'll be analyzing the visual images or the acoustic signals, maybe the quantities related to the pressure, temperature, everything, and something that is dealing with the engineering. Maybe we'll be transforming these quantities into their analog or the digital signals, and we'll be doing the analysis. So in these pattern analysis, It's for the molecular biology, and also for the other sectors, we'll be using the permutation and combinations. How much combinations would be possible, how the pattern matching can be done. So all these fields we'll be using permutations and combinations. And I'll tell you some more areas where the permutations and combinations are used. The first one is database and data mining. So I know you have an idea about what the database is and what data mining is. Database, we can call it as simply a collection of data, and database and data mining is we are having a large collection of data and we want to get the actual data we need. So both these techniques will be using the concept of permutation and combination. This is also being used in neural networks, in AI, in robotics and all. So that's all for the session. So I think you have an idea about some of the applications of permutations and combination. And also you have an idea about the calculus. So now let's have an interactive session. If you have any doubts or any queries, you can post it. So me and Haris will be addressing it. Yeah. Hello, sir.
Can you hear me, ma'am?
Yeah. Now it's okay. So many comments are there. Okay, just a minute. Okay, just a minute. Nija ma'am, are you here? I think the attendance form will be already.
Yes, ma'am.
The attendance form is shared, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it is already shared. So ma'am will be sharing it once again. So please mark your attendance. And if you have anything to discuss, just type it in the chat box. Okay, someone is asking about tomorrow's class. So for tomorrow's class will be from the time 5:30 to 6:30. So please don't forget to join by that time. So tomorrow's class will be handled by Sudhir sir, and we'll be having a wonderful session tomorrow. So please do attend that session. And day after tomorrow, we'll be having that quiz, and all the videos will be uploaded by tomorrow evening.
So there is a question like I could address that. So it is about like how calculus is being used in electronics, calculus and permutation combination. So I'm not so much of sure about permutation combination, but of course calculus is something which is very important in any kind of calculations, irrespective of whether it can be electronics department or aerospace or even mechanics. Generally calculating the voltage or current through capacitors or inductors requires both kind of calculus, like the integral as well as the differential calculus. So for calculating the response time, we call it is like no, it depends on the what type of circuit you will be using. In building circuits, you will be encountering RC and RL circuits and also RLC combination circuit. That means resistor, capacitor, and inductor combination circuits. So in order to solve those kind of circuits, you definitely need to have good knowledge in calculus, because most of the circuits will come up in second order differential equations. Yes, there is another interesting question that how calculus is used in space work. I mean, in the space science and all. So I'm a big fan of astronomy, and I do learn more about astronomies. So generally you need calculus, of course, because irrespective of space science, even when you're studying about the rocket science, you will be needing how much fuel that you need to calculate, or how much at what speed the satellite is moving on, and what would be the correct velocity to break through our Earth's atmosphere and also about other planets' atmosphere. Every planet have different atmospheres and velocity. Like the breakthrough velocity is different for each planet. So in order for calculating those higher order undefined or unknown parameters, you need to be well versed in calculus. So that is, of course, by default.
And there is one question like, is calculus used in machine learning? You have to have a really good understanding of calculus in order to deal with the machine learning concepts. So for analyzing the relationships of the functions, all these things, you need the help of calculus. It's playing a very important role in the concept of machine learning, mostly for the machine learning algorithms.
And like people, if you have any queries like related to the courses, like if you are confused with ECM and ECE and other subjects, and even in between ECM and ECE triple E, so those kind of subject related or degree related questions you can ask our Sudhi sir, who will be joining with us by tomorrow. And he is the counselor, and he will counsel you about how to choose your course and what are the important topics and what are the what's the exact relationship between all the different types of courses. And also he'll be discussing about what are the other bright futuristic courses that you can take apart from CSE. So I hope,
yeah, so
if you're
tomorrow's session is important, so please do attend that session. You will have an idea about the different branches and everything, and you can also ask him career related questions. Actually, the link of the previous YouTube sessions is there in the foundation program website itself. So you can go and check it from there.
how to pursue theoretical astronomy while studying engineering. So Alex, again, back to the aerospace and astronomy related questions. So like I said, I was a mechanical engineer and I was too much into astronomy too. So, but if you're really interested, you can learn by yourself. Also, you can join the clubs in the Amrita University. There are clubs for astronomy, and those people can really guide you, and they will be keep on conducting workshops and connect you with the people who are into the research in astronomy field. So that would be the great thing which I would advise if you're joining for engineering and you are interested in astronomy.
Yeah, tomorrow's session is about counseling. We have already told you. So it's from 5:30 to 6:30 in the evening. So please don't forget to join tomorrow's session. So that's it for today, I think, sir.
Sure, ma'am, we can end the session.
Yeah. Okay. So thank you everyone for participating, and thank you all. And we'll be having our quiz day after tomorrow, and tomorrow we'll be giving you the time and all the details, and also it is published in the website. It's by 3:30, and tomorrow's session is from 5:30 to 6:30. We have provided the attendance form once again. Please do give your attendance.
Yes, thank you, ma'am, and thank you,
Yeah.
students. Thanks for attending, and I hope like I could expect more than 300 participants by tomorrow's session, because that is bit quite important for you. And you can also share the link with other students who are really in need of counseling, like for education related purposes. So I hope, and also you can ask many more questions tomorrow, and it will also discuss everything about entrance examinations, dates, and also about what are the career paths that you will be needing. So for all those career related and BTech related questions, we can address it clearly tomorrow. So no worries.
And the remaining videos will be posted in the foundation program website soon. So maybe by today evening or tomorrow morning, it will be there. So please don't worry. And the quizzes will be from these topics.
Yeah. Okay then.
Okay,
We can end the
okay
session.
then. Thank you all. Thank you so much for participating. Thank you all.